The message came through at 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. I was reviewing quarterly reports for my property portfolio when my phone lit up with the family group chat notification. Aunt Patricia's message sat there in bold letters pinned to the top by my cousin Derek. Family Christmas will be at Riverside Estates this year. Formal attire, adults only. Sofia, this means you're not invited. We need people who won't embarrass us in front of the right crowd. 12 responses came within minutes. Uncle James with a thumbs up. My mother with finally a classy Christmas. Cousin Derek with 3 laughing emojis. Sister Rebecca, thank God she'd probably show up in jeans. I set my phone down carefully next to my coffee. The ceramic mug was warm against my palm. Outside my office window, downtown stretched out 23 floors below. The same view I'd had for 6 years as CEO of Martinez Property Group. The same view I'd fought for while my family called me confused about my place in life. For 15 years, I'd been the family disappointment. The one who wasted her finance degree on playing with buildings instead of marrying well like Rebecca. The one who wore inappropriate blazers to family dinners instead of the floral dresses my mother preferred. The one who talked about boring business things instead of discussing whose children were getting into which private schools. My phone buzzed again. Aunt Patricia in the group chat. We've already paid the $8,500 deposit. Non-refundable. This will be the Christmas the Martinez family deserves. I picked up my office phone. My assistant answered on the first ring. Connect me with James Chin at Riverside Estates. Your property manager? Of course, Ms. Martinez. The irony wasn't lost on me. Riverside Estates, the crown jewel of my portfolio. I'd purchased it 4 years ago when the previous owners defaulted on their commercial loan. 42 acres of manicured grounds, a 20,000 FT main building, capacity for 500 guests, market value $4.2 million. I'd paid $2.88 million cash and spent another $600,000 on renovations. My family had no idea. James picked up Sofia. I saw the booking request from a Patricia Martinez come through yesterday. I was going to call you. Same last name, I thought maybe family. It is family. Pull up the reservation details. The sound of keyboard clicking came through the line. December 25th, 2 p.m. to 9:00 p.m. 50 guests. Premium bar package, full catering from Lawrence White Glove Service. Total contract value $32,000. They've paid the deposit. Balance due December 1st. I looked at the group chat again. My cousin Melissa had just posted. So glad we don't have to pretend to be nice to Sofia this year. She never fit in anyway. There's a psychological concept called the spotlight effect, the tendency to overestimate how much others notice about us. My family had spent 15 years treating me like I was under a spotlight of failure. Every business decision I made was risky. Every property I acquired was another waste of money. Every success I achieved was luck or the wrong kind of success. What they never noticed was that I'd stopped seeking their spotlight entirely. I'd built my own stage. James, I need you to send an automated cancellation notice. Standard template. Property owner reserves the right to refuse service. Cite the clause about events that exclude property ownership from attendance. You want me to cancel your aunt's Christmas? I want you to enforce the policy I established when I bought this property. No events that exclude me from my own venue. It's in the standard contract. Section 7, paragraph 3. They signed it. Silence on the other end. Then you know what? I remember adding that clause when you bought the place. You said it was for situations exactly like this. Pull the trigger. Done. Automated email goes out in 60 seconds. Deposit is forfeit per cancellation terms. Initiated by violation of attendance policy. I'll mark the date as unavailable. I thanked him and hung up. My coffee had gone cold. I didn't drink it. The thing about family dynamics is they're built on a foundation of assumed power structures. For 15 years, my family structure had been simple. They were the successful ones who'd married doctors and lawyers and produced grandchildren. I was the oddball who'd chosen career over family, which in their eyes made me both pitiable and contemptible. But power structures only work when both parties accept them. 53 seconds after I hung up with James, my phone exploded. Aunt Patricia called first. I let it go to voicemail. Then Uncle James' voicemail. My mother called 3 times in 90 seconds. All voicemail. The group chat became a war zone of confusion and rage. Patricia, my reservation was canceled. Deposit gone. This is unacceptable. Derek, can you rebook somewhere else? Patricia, every venue is booked for Christmas. I called 4 places already. Mother, this is a disaster. Who cancels Christmas? Rebecca, maybe we can do it at someone's house. Patricia, I invited the Hendersons, the Wainwrights, and Charles Prescott from the yacht club. I can't have them at someone's house. I opened my laptop and pulled up the reservation system. James had already updated the notes. Cancellation. Owner exclusion clause violated. Guest attempted to book venue while specifically excluding property owner from event. Deposit forfeited. $8,500. Date blocked for personal use. My phone rang again. This time, a number I didn't recognize. I answered, Martine, a woman's voice, professional but warm. This is Caroline Hendricks from Riverside Estates. I know who you are, Caroline. You're the events coordinator James hired last year. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry to bother you, but there's a woman here at the venue, a Patricia Martinez. She's demanding to speak with management about a cancellation. She's quite upset. She says she's your aunt and that this is all a misunderstanding. Through the phone, I could hear Aunt Patricia's voice in the background. I demand to speak to whoever owns this place. This is unacceptable. Do you know who we are? Put her on speaker, Caroline, and please record this for liability purposes. You're on speaker, Ms. Martinez. Who is this? Aunt Patricia's voice filled my office. I'm trying to plan a family Christmas and your incompetent staff canceled my reservation. This is Sofia Martinez. I own Riverside Estates. I'm also the family member you specifically excluded from the family Christmas you're planning at my venue. The silence that followed was so complete I could hear someone's breathing. What? Aunt Patricia's voice had dropped to barely a whisper. I purchased Riverside Estates in October 2020 for $2.8 million. I've owned it for 4 years. You booked my property for a family event and specifically excluded me from attending. Section 7, paragraph 3 of your contract states that any event that excludes the property owner from attendance will result in immediate cancellation with forfeit of all deposits. You signed that contract. You own this place. I own 7 commercial properties in this county. Riverside Estates is one of them. The others include the office building where Derek works, the shopping plaza where Rebecca gets her hair done, and the apartment complex where Uncle James lives. I have a portfolio value of $22 million. I didn't mention this at family dinners because I was too busy listening to lectures about how I was wasting my life. Caroline's voice came back on. Ms. Martinez, should I proceed with the escorted exit? Yes. And Caroline, block all future booking attempts from anyone in my immediate family. They can submit written requests to my legal team if they'd like to rent my properties. Subject to standard approval and the attendance clause. Understood, Mrs. Martinez. I'm going to have to ask you to leave the property now. The ghost ledger doesn't show up on any balance sheet, but every person who's been systematically diminished by their family knows it exists. It's the accounting of emotional debts that can never be collected in dollars. Entry 1. 15 years of Christmas dinners where my business successes were met with. That's nice, dear. While Derek's promotion to regional sales manager got champagne toasts, cost self-worth unquantifiable. Entry 2. The Thanksgiving when I mentioned purchasing my 3rd property, and my mother said, when are you going to focus on finding a husband instead of these silly investments? Cost, the belief that my achievements mattered to the people who raised me. Entry 3. Every wedding, every baby shower, every family gathering where I was introduced as Sofia, she's in real estate with the same tone others might say. Sofia, she collects bottle caps. Cost dignity 73 separate occasions. Entry 4. The family reunion where Aunt Patricia told the Prescott, the same people she wanted at Christmas, that I was still trying to figure out what to do with her life. I was 34. I just closed a $1.9 million deal. Cost credibility with people whose opinions I didn't even want. The ledger's balance was simple. They owed me recognition I'd never demanded. Payment came due the moment they needed something I owned. My mother called again. This time I answered, "Sofia, what have you done? I enforced a contract." Patricia is hysterical. She's telling everyone you humiliated her. She drove to that venue thinking she could fix this in person, and they escorted her out. She humiliated herself by booking my property for an event I wasn't invited to. Your property? Since when do you own? Since 2020. Mom, I've owned it for 4 years. Before that, I own 6 other commercial properties. I have 17 residential rental units. I employ 43 people across my holdings. I generate $2.1 million in annual revenue. And none of you noticed because you were too busy telling me I was wasting my potential. Silence. I don't understand. I know you don't. That's the problem. I hung up before she could respond. The procedural justice system moves slowly, but it moves with precision. That's what makes it satisfying. Each step documented, each consequence inevitable, each appeal denied not through cruelty, but through the simple application of rules everyone agreed to follow. Step 1. Contract enforcement completed at 10:32 a.m. Deposit forfeited, $8,500. Step 2. Property access restrictions completed at 11:15 a.m. All family member names flagged in the booking system. Future rental requests require written application and legal review. Step 3. Documentation distribution. I forwarded the cancellation notice and contract to every family member in the group chat at 11:47 a.m. Subject line regarding Christmas plans. Step 4. Attorney consultation. At 2 p.m., I met with my corporate counsel. We reviewed potential defamation concerns if family members started spreading false information about my business practices. Standard cease and desist letters were prepared, ready to send if necessary. Step 5. Portfolio review. I had my property managers pull reports on every property connection to my family. Derek's office building lease was up for renewal in March. Uncle James's apartment complex was undergoing market rate adjustments. Rebecca's salon was in a plaza where I owned 40% equity. Knowledge is leverage. Step 6. Communication boundaries. I left the family group chat at 4:30 p.m. Before I did, I posted one message. I'm available for genuine conversations about rebuilding family relationships based on mutual respect. I'm not available for dramatics about Christmas venue cancellations. You have my direct number. Step 7. Alternative planning. I called my actual family, the chosen kind, my best friend, Maria, who'd celebrated every property closing with me. My mentor, Robert, who'd believed in me when banks wouldn't. My assistant, Jenny, who'd worked overtime on every deal. I booked Riverside Estates for December 25th under my name. Intimate dinner for 8. The people who'd actually shown up for my life. The group chat continued without me. I know because several people screenshot it and sent it to me. Aunt Patricia was demanding I be more reasonable. Derek called me spiteful. Rebecca suggested I was having a breakdown and needed intervention. My mother posted a long message about family loyalty and forgiveness that conveniently forgot every time they dismissed my accomplishments. But the 3 people who mattered most stayed quiet in the chat. Uncle Richard, Cousin Anna, and my grandmother. They each called me privately. Uncle Richard, I always knew you were doing well. I'm sorry I didn't speak up more. Cousin Anna, I stopped coming to family events 2 years ago. Now I know you understand why. My grandmother, 92 and sharp as ever. Mija, I'm proud of you. Always have been. Can I come to your Christmas dinner? I said yes to all 3. 6 months have passed. Aunt Patricia never rebooked her Christmas. The family gathered at her house instead. 32 people crammed into a space meant for 15. I heard it was chaos. I heard Derek's office lease wasn't renewed. The new tenants pay market rate $4,200 more per month. I heard my mother asks about me now carefully through Uncle Richard. Whether I'm well, whether I'd consider coming to Easter. I heard Rebecca tried to book Riverside Estates for her daughter's Sweet 16. The request was denied. My Christmas was perfect. 8 people, 5 courses, 4 hours of genuine conversation. Maria gave a toast about chosen family. Robert told stories about my first terrified property showing. Jenny reminded everyone about the time I negotiated a deal while having food poisoning, closing it from a hospital bed. My grandmother held my hand during dessert. "You know what's funny?" she said. "What, Abella?" They thought they were inviting the right people to Christmas. The Hendersons, the Wainwrights, all those important names. He squeezed my fingers. But the most successful Martinez was already in the family. They just never bothered to look. The bill for Christmas dinner at my venue, $4,200 paid to myself. The look on Aunt Patricia's face when Caroline escorted her out, priceless. The knowledge that I'd built something they couldn't take away, worth every ignored achievement, every dismissive comment, every year of being treated like the family failure. I get emails sometimes forwarded from the Riverside Estates booking system, requests from family members for various events, weddings, anniversaries, graduations. Each one comes with a note now. Would Sofia be welcome to attend? Some I approve. Uncle Richard's retirement party, Cousin Anna's engagement celebration, my grandmother's 93rd birthday. Some I deny. No explanation needed beyond the attendance clause. And Aunt Patricia, she emails once a month. Always the same subject line. Reconsider. Always the same message. This family feud is getting ridiculous. I never respond. There is no feud. A feud requires 2 parties fighting. This is simply a correction in the power structure. The one where they assumed control over property they never owned, over a Christmas they couldn't exclude me from, over a narrative about my life they had no right to write. They wanted an elegant Christmas at Riverside Estates. They got a lesson in reading contracts instead. And I got my family dinner exactly where it belonged, at my table, in my venue, with my people on my terms.